The following is rated not safe for work. It contains strong language, adult situations, and lots of spoilers. Discretion is advised.
In the criminal justice system, cinematic-based offenses are considered especially heinous. The dedicated attorneys who investigate these villainous films are members of an elite squad known as the Reels of Justice. These are their stories.
Order, please, order. The Reels of Justice is now in session. Judge Big Ben Haslar presiding. We all rise for the Honorable Judge Haslar. Be seated. Welcome to the Reels of Justice. Today we're in the case of The People versus Lawnmower Man, a 1992 sci-fi thriller in which a scientist conducts experiments on the titular Lawnmower Man, utilizing nascent virtual reality technology to ominous ends. For those of you unfamiliar with our court proceedings, we are here to determine if this film is guilty of being a bad movie. As always in this courtroom, films are considered excellent until proven awful, and the burden of proof lies upon the prosecution to prove beyond the shadow of a reasonable doubt that this film is guilty. Mr. Bangs, Esquire, you are representing the prosecution. You may present your opening statement.
Thank you, Your Honor. One chilly day not long ago, I watched a movie for this show, a Stephen King adaptation, though it seems not quite true. From a secret lab, a chimp escape, and he met Job, who does landscape. And he and the furry went to his shack in a hurry. Yeah. Come on, Cybo, Job said with a wink. I'm a man who really loves his grass, but it's not what you think. I tried to understand. I tried to understand the Lawnmower Man. Then men with guns appeared outside, and Cybo Chimp, he sadly died, which upset this egghead who looked like James Bond. And now in lieu, Pierce Brosnan thought a gardener guinea pig he sought. He did his tests on Joe, but they worked way too well. Come on, stop now, the doctor pled with Job. I've dangerously overloaded your prefrontal lobe. I tried to understand. I tried to understand the Lawnmower Man. Thank you, Your Honor.
If he didn't sing, I was afraid he would be phoning it in.
Don't say that!
At first I thought you were doing Wicked.
Maybe I
didn't realize you were doing
Heart. Oh, I knew this part.
The song had a lot of heart. Yeah,
it's got so much play in our area. I love it.
Well, till now we got fine on our own. But thank you, Mr. Bangs. Appearing on behalf of the defense is Miss Triv. Please present your opening statement.
Well, I don't have a song and dance for this particular thing, but I'd like
use mine.
Can you send me over the lyrics? I left my singing voice at home, so
too late. I burned them.
Oh,
he's fast that way.
With that said, it said Lawnmower Man is a bad movie, a cash grab with dated CGI, terrible acting, and the list goes on. I'm here to tell you it's time to reevaluate that set of notions. Repeated stories without needed context only get you so far. The main crux of this movie is as much a story of our time as it was in '92, and I aim to bring these points to light.
Great. Looking forward to it. Mr. Bangs, you may present your first exhibit.
Thank you, Your Honor. This movie was initially marketed as Stephen King's The Lawnmower Man, based on a short story of his from his book Night Shift. In fact, many films come from this collection, including Children of the Corn, The Mangler, Sometimes They Come Back, and of course, Trucks, which would be adapted into Maximum Overdrive, a film we've already suffered through on this show. But Stephen King ended up suing the filmmakers of Lawnmower Man to have his name removed because he felt the final product bore no meaningful resemblance to his original story. In fact, he sued them twice because they put his name back on the title when it went to home video. And truth be told, most of this film originated as a pre-existing script called Cyber God, which the filmmakers then presumably updated vaguely to have the main character mow lawns and kill one guy with a lawnmower through telepathy, and boom, it's Lawnmower Man, right? That's just enough. You can really see the seams of what would have been the original Cyber God movie, presumably the entire plot, and what elements that were globbed on top in an effort to associate it with the red hot at the time author. Now, my issue is not the integrity of Stephen King's short story being preserved. In fact, it's sort of a silly short story. It would probably make a terrible movie, maybe even worse than this. But my issue is the incredibly transparent way the filmmakers just wanted to paperclip Stephen King's name onto this film as a way of attracting audiences and fans of his. It's a cheap and pathetic marketing ploy that happily backfired on them because they had to pay King a whole bunch of money while also taking his name off this trek.
I would like to point out. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, I was just going to throw it to you. I was going to say, is this going to be more like Maximum Overdrive or The Shining, both projects which he hated, apparently?
Absolutely. And Stephen King was known for being very specific about the way that his projects were done. In this case, though, his issue was not with the movie itself, but the fact that his intellectual property was taken. He outrightly told the director, Brett Leonard, that he enjoyed the movie, and he was going to sue New Line because of the infringement on his rights, which, in this case, it's like anything. And but on that same note, how many movies have a premise of something very small and then we don't hear from it again? Look at The Conjuring. Oh, we've got a movie about a crazy doll that's going to destroy everything. Very few of those things ended up in the movie. And I would also like to say that of the pieces that were based on a lawnmower or based on the original story, they did do it justice. The dialogue was in there, the character was in there, the giant lawnmower was in there, and it was more than just globbed on top. They made Job a landscaper. There was a good chunk of the plot that dealt with that.
I'd like to make one objection. One, it's not so much that they didn't have the rights to his story. They did have the rights to his story. Because they all the rights to that short story collection had been divided among the wind. But he felt that it did not represent his story enough, that they had left too much of it behind, or it was just such a minor part of it. Because you're right, there is the one scene where he uses telepathy to control a lawnmower to hack one guy to death. And that guy is the same character as it is in the story. But in the story, the guy is actually called for a landscaping, and the guy who ends up killing him with the lawnmower does it as a sacrifice to the god Pan. It's a bad story. It's a bad story.
I'm surprised they didn't try to incorporate that element.
That makes practically no sense. But the point is, it's just barely stapled in here just to give them an excuse to use the title, which is just an excuse to put his name on it.
Okay. Would you like to proceed to your next exhibit?
If Nicki doesn't have any objections to that.
I was going to add that initially with the story that they were going to use with this title was going to be a serial killer that was going to mulch up women or mow up women and mulch them. So given the choice between the two, because this was going to go one way or the other, I think that this was a much better use of that title. And I go back and I know that it's a minimum point, but the fact that Stephen King did not actually have an issue with the story, but with the people taking his name. And that's, I think, understandable. But
I know some women that like a good mulching. Now and then.
I don't know how many people are seeing it just based on the title's name, but we'll let the jury decide.
I think it's not the Lawnmower Man that attracted them. It's Stephen King's,
right,
which was on the poster. He made him remove it, and then they again put it on the home video release.
Such a melodious title, they had to have it.
Why he had to.
I want to also add that to some extent, you can say this obviously doesn't have a lot to do with the original story. But there are quite a few elements that would be similar in a Stephen King story. You've got, very stereotypical characters following tropes. You've got kind of a guy kind of coming out of his element because of some ways that are not of this world so much. There is a lot of fantastical stuff that you see in Stephen King that is
living machines. Lots of living machines and Tommy Knockers and Maximum Overdrive.
Could be Stevie Prince's The Lawnmower Man.
I will move on, Your Honor. Now, as much as this film, it kind of wants to be a technophobia parable, right? I think even the description at the beginning explained how it uses, I think it was nascent virtual reality to enhance this guy. But at the end of the day, the virtual reality, that technology, the computer stuff really has almost nothing to do with Job's transformation. So for people who haven't seen the movie, Job starts as someone that we would say is intellectually disabled. He receives treatment from Pierce Brosnan, the scientist. Those treatments include injections. And yes, there are some virtual reality sessions. And it enhances his intelligence too much, and he becomes like a whole cyber god thing. We'll touch on it. But the point is, his transformation really has everything to do with those injections. That's a physical thing that's happening in the real world. I don't know if there's steroids in there, if there's some kind of chemical. Obviously, we see him get more muscle at some point. But the point is, the virtual reality, that's just a place for him to do some simulated training. But that kind of reflex and response test would exist and happen. It could happen in the real world too. It doesn't require a virtual one. You know, he gets informational lessons over the computer through all these discs. That's a handy medium to give it to him, but it's not a requirement. He could just as easily go to a library and sit down and read hundreds of books in one sitting, which we actually see him reading some books in some scenes. Ultimately, his change, his transformation, it comes from the injection, the shots he receives that are physically changing him. It really has nothing to do with virtual reality at all. If he just got the shots and existed in the real world, he would still become smarter and get probably telekinesis and telepathy too still. He just would have a less of a medium to learn it in.
Triv, could he have downloaded Kung Fu into his brain?
We can only hope. Actually, virtual reality, the reason they put that out front was because it was a very nascent technology, and a lot of people didn't know what it was. In fact,
Schlenzo, tell me what that word means.
Yeah, that's
Young.
Oh, is that
New.
We did write the
Oh,
description.
New. Got it.
Yes.
All right.
You could just say novel.
No, okay, fine.
How about new? New is a good word.
Okay, it was a
But
new.
it's young and undeveloped. That's the whole point.
It's young.
All right, order in my court.
Okay.
Let's proceed to the point.
Would you like me to call it nubile? Would that be better?
Yes.
No.
No, I like
nubile
nubile.
technology that is still quite flexible and fresh to the world.
Oh, they're going to need it mulching.
You know what? What else would you expect after a good session? Or a good court case? They actually had to put together a 30-minute reel talking about what virtual reality was for the producer, so they understood kind of the ins and outs. But I would say that the virtual reality that we see here, it's a stimulation bit. Oh God, that sounds terrible given nubile.
Okay, you're stimulating nubiles. I've heard.
Yes,
I'm listening.
Exactly. That's how I'm going to win the case. Is subtle wordplay. I think that it's
Yes, very subtle.
It's a oh yeah, very much. It's fertilizer for the shots. It was a combination of the two things. It was sort of like the lightning for Frankenstein's monster. It provided Job a playground to kind of see what could be. And ultimately that became his world, and he found things in there that he wouldn't have otherwise have done.
I'd like to object to that, it being the lightning. The shots are the lightning to Frankenstein. Virtual reality is more like the slab they laid him on. They could lay him on other things besides the slab, but the slab was very convenient. It could pitch and turn.
Okay, tell me this. If you're learning new things and you don't have any practical way to be able to implement those things, you're learning how to build a house, but all you have is the blueprints and such. You're not going to be able to build a house. All you have is that book learning. It requires a playground of sorts to be able to see where your mind can take you, right?
Well, how about a playground then? Have him go out and build a house. Have him do something in the real world.
Point. You can't do that in the real.
Yeah, you can build a house in the real world. I'm in one right now.
What he was learning was beyond
Lies.
basic stuff. You're talking history. You're talking scientific methods. You're talking all of these things that are beyond what you're going to get in suburbia America or in a church or anywhere else. You took a very simple mind, or a simple mind portrayed in here, and making it explode. He needed that tactile practice space to be able to do this stuff. And that's what the virtual reality in this was. That's why he kept going back there. That's why he wanted to have sex in virtual space so they could go beyond what the the bounds of the human body would allow.
Trust me,
Well,
cyber sex is not better than the real thing.
I mean, the way it was
Not
looking,
in
back to the nubiles.
it looked pretty banger. I mean, there was a lot of nubile, refreshing stuff going on in there. So.
But she got
do you think that this-
lobotomized.
Plus, can you put your leg behind your head? Because in virtual reality,
Give me a
it's
second.
a little easier.
But
Well,
do we think that this film is meant to be?
Visit later.
Is this film meant to be technophobic then? If it's like the shots, like what are we supposed to be afraid of?
I think that it was definitely a case of it was talking technology. Brett Leonard has gone on to make other movies based around this. He still not preaches, lectures on it today. He made Virtuosity, which was a movie in a similar vein. He has many YouTube videos talking about the goods and the bads of technology and AI in modern time. So
Not Stephen King's Virtuosity?
No, that would be quite an interesting one. But these are things to take note of because it is for watching this. I'm a big Twilight Zone fan, and you can see good Twilight Zone transcends time. And I think they're not in quite the same way, but that does do that here too. Those fears and the way that everything was weaponized by the U.S. government, by the shop, all of that stuff can be translated to today. The ability of quantity of information over quality of information. The fact that people will scroll through TikToks or Reels for hours, not gaining anything from it. The fact that it's been shown to change our brain chemistry.
Well, let me make one objection here, because I don't think the film is really poo-pooing even the virtual reality treatment as is, because at the end of the film, Pierce Brosnan intends to continue his work. It's not like he's like Dr. Frankenstein. He's like, well, I've gone too far. I'm putting all this away. He intends to continue. I believe he says this technology will free the mind of man, not enslave it. So what it's saying is this technology is just fine. The problem is the guys at the shop who wanted to use it for the wrong reasons and for the wrong ends. The technology is not the problem. It's the context it was used in. So I don't think it's being entirely critical of this virtual space in the way that you're saying this filmmaker is now.
I don't think it is either. Now, yes, but back in the day, the technology was new. They didn't know where it was going to end up. Yeah, what exactly? If you will. But to say that they were looking at the goods and bads of it, and any good scientist is going to look at this and say, okay, this was my hypothesis. They went too far with the chimp. Okay, we need to pull back and not use.
Try it on a human.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was. It is a classic mad scientist tale, right? But he
I'm glad.
Following that scientific method, right? This didn't work. We know that we need to do this.
We killed a chimp. Now let's try to kill a man.
Exactly.
You did use an important phrase. It was any good scientist, which brings me to this point. Who cast Pierce Brosnan to be a scientist? Who looked at him and thought, you know what he reminds me of? A scientist. Absolutely, I could see him in the lab coat and everything. I mean, Tim Burton.
Denise Richards and
Tim Burton cast Pierce Brosnan as a scientist in Mars Attacks, but it was a joke. It was supposed to be funny. I mean, I'm just saying that a computer nerd who spends most of his day sitting or laying down, escaping in virtual reality, is he going to keep in that good a shape? Now you've asked me to go too far, movie. Now you're just being silly.
I think you're being
can nerds be handsome? Put them straight.
I'm pretty sure they can. I think that I understand where you're going, but I think you're looking. Repeat to yourself. It's just a show. You should really just relax. It's a movie.
We don't do that here.
It's meant to go in those directions. Plus, you know what? A sexy ass scientist, and Pierce Brosnan was certainly going to bring in the bodies, right? Especially when you got the guy that played the director on the other end of that spectrum. So yeah, I'll take all of it. And this isn't ideal. It's not necessarily meant to be the same.
This is the ideal mad scientist. You may not like it, but this is what peak mad scientist looks like.
Hey, you know what? I had a sexual awakening with that. Okay, fine. Ian Malcolm from Jurassic Park. He was way too hot to be a mathematician, right?
I mean, he can. Pierce Brosnan, he spends most of his time shirtless.
Right.
Well, he can do his mathematics. They describe Ian Malcolm as a rock star scientist. First off, as if he kind of goofs off and goes to parties a lot. I am.
Why?
Because we see him sitting in his basement all the time, getting lost in virtual reality. In fact, his wife discusses it explicitly that he will not go out with her, will not go out on dates, won't go to the city, simply does not want to leave the house for any reason. So he lives a sedentary life. He doesn't go out a lot.
So he can't have a Bowflex in the basement?
I want to see him virtual reality Bowflex then. If you're going to give the ladies what they want, then give them a shirtless
The movie is already
Bowflex
2 hours, 20 minutes, so that's probably a deleted
reality scene.
That was the extra secret director's cut.
Ooh, they're
you have anything to close off with there, Mr.
Close off?
Yeah.
Well, I thought the doctor was taking his clothes off. I have a couple things. One, Job's powers have no rules, right? Okay, he develops telekinesis and telepathy, arguably abilities that are locked inside humans. Okay. But how does he conjure those like wasps? How does he make those like digital wasps that seemingly attack people outside of the lab? He seems to be able to conjure matter and create matter now. And they can physically attack people. And I will say that I won't poo-poo too many of the CGI dates because a lot of them are computer graphics at that old time, so they would look bad now. But if the wasps are supposed to be out in the world being real wasps, then they'd look pretty bad. But how does he make them? Like, what is this power? He can just kind of do anything.
I mean, isn't that... Okay, fine. You want to look at how he projected like the weird lawnmower face into the head of the gas station attendant. How was he able to do that?
That I'll give him powers... being telepathy, like a psychic suggestion. I'll give him that.
How did he control
where are the boundaries, though? Like, he does get trapped and stuff in the end. Like, where are the boundaries to his powers?
I would think that the powers are probably based around the fact of like the World Wide Web kind of a thing. Even if it was a much more limited thing back then. We don't know the powers of the human mind, so I think that it probably bases around that. He pushed himself to absolute limits. He managed to break through everything that was put in front of him.
Except a firewall at the end.
There have been Buddhist monks that have projected VR firewalls.
And he becomes this like all-powerful computer program, but he has to check every port one at a time to find which one is not blocked. I mean, my operating system can scan hundreds of ports in seconds and find the open one like that.
25 as compared to 19.
Oh, in 92 they could do it too. But like a port scan is not challenging or difficult. An operating system is meant to do that, but he's got to go, access denied, and try them one at a time, just sort of for the film's tension.
Well, it was just slowed down so you could actually see him in motion,
because there would be otherwise no challenge to him.
Absolutely.
And I'll pitch this to you. All right, he turns into pure energy somehow. He goes into the computer. What's his plan?
I assume to infiltrate the world, or to infiltrate everyone via phone lines the way you would back in the day, like through dial-up.
To do what?
To be able to change the minds of everyone. He saw the danger and the badness of the world, and he wanted to change that. And he, in his cracked mind state, thought that he could change everything. And clearly by the sequel, which we won't discuss, he did some version of it as a different actor.
Ooh, well, if he can change his appearance, he can change into anything, right?
That's
so if he wants to turn into another actor.
See,
I don't know what his plan is. Like, I get that he can leech into every other computer, but like, he's left his body behind. So it's not like he's going to steal a bunch of money from a bank and then be super rich. It's, is he going to set off all the nukes? I don't even know if the nukes were hooked up to computers at this point. I don't know what he intends to do. It's just like another vague technophobia of like, oh, he'll be everywhere. Like, and whatever. If he wants to sit on the other side of my computer and watch me, chat on instant messenger, whatever.
Well, think about the character at that time. Like I think it was a matter of a few months that he kind of started to change. His change, that last bit of his change was so fast. He probably thought, okay, this is my basic idea. Didn't give it a lot of thought, just knew what he needed to do. I mean, he killed a bunch of people. It's like, oh, where am I going to go from here? World domination. That is kind of a typical trend when you're talking about those things.
You said he was helping people moments ago, and now he killed everyone. He's
helping them by freeing them from their pain.
He helped one little boy, but basically, other than that, he's given into the aggression of the formula and is murdering everybody.
I mean, it
which
happened
is
with Frankenstein. It happened with a lot.
I guess, but they kind of used the wrong brain in Frankenstein, I think, right? So,
Abby Normal, yeah.
But but I guess that's the last point I'll kind of close on. This film doesn't deal really with the moral problem of if it's even right to artificially enhance someone's intelligence. Like what Brosnan does here is kind of a step away from eugenics. Does he have the right to change someone's brain chemistry? I'm not saying he doesn't necessarily. I'm saying the film takes no time to wrestle with that. The complication that arises here is that Brosnan's boss reverts to using an old formula, which should have already been noted as failed because it causes violent tendencies. I don't know why they insist on using that formula when they know it doesn't work. Probably because the film has to happen. But that's the problem the film introduces. Not that Brosnan is meddling in the affairs he has no business with. Not that he's playing God. Just that wound up playing God wrong. And so seemingly there's a point in this movie where Job is seemingly better off for having been changed. He's happier. People treat him better. His belt buckle game is much tighter. He's having sex with someone. He doesn't read comic books anymore, which is a clear indication of idiocy in adults. That's how you know an adult is stupid. They read comics.
Graphic novels.
But Brosnan could stop his treatment at this sort of middle point, and this film would argue, I think, that Job is better off for it until the boss interferes and alters the plan. Then the conflict arises.
Did we need a Rod Serling to, put all this thing in a nice little bubble for us?
Honestly, I don't think that, there was a lot of convoluted things when it came to Sterling as well. First off, when it comes to the government stuff, have you seen some of the stuff that the government is doing right now? In theory, they're going backwards on all of the things that they should be doing. They're trying things that didn't work 10 years ago, much less today. So the fact, people fall back on the things that they believe that they know. And I think that's why they went back to those formulas. Oh, a chimp is different than a human being. This will work this time. That's why they went that route. They saw the end goal. They saw things moving in the right direction. And they said, well, screw it. Let's do this. This'll speed everything up and get him to where we need him to be. As far as Pierce Brosnan goes, I think that he got blinded by science.
No.
The ability to go that route and to spend so much of your life invested in a thing. I think that he just continued that without a lot of thought of consequence. And even when Job started to get to the point where he was, gaining intelligence, he gained it at such a rate. Like, at that point, Pierce Brosnan straight up said, hey, you need to slow down. Enjoy a book. Chill out. And in terms of them saying that the message that Job was better off as, even if he had stopped halfway, I don't see that. That he lost his humanity even at that point. So I think there is something to be said for that at that moment.
I don't know that the movie entirely convinces me at the end that Job was better off at the beginning. I think Job is fine at the beginning. He holds down a job. He can live entirely on his own. I mean, Job's really more like Forrest Gump than, he does not like he needs like a full-time caregiver or something like that. Like he's
Rain Man.
He's quite capable of caring for himself. So yeah, and he's happy. He meets a monkey. He's happy as hell. But so to me, the film doesn't seem. I can't decide if the film thinks he is better off, because I mean there are all those scenes where he learns to comb his hair, and get rid of overalls, and and apparently start working out. That's why I think there's steroids in there.
Overalls
really
are coming back.
He really gets buff.
It did
out of
allow
nowhere.
him to advocate more for himself with that increase in, I don't know, whatever version of intelligence you want to equate that to. But beyond that, he didn't. All of that stuff was, he's having sex. Great. He's dealing with all of the headaches and everything else. In the grand scheme, everything has a price. And I think they showed that. If you're going to do this thing, you're going to have to pay or have the consequences, both positive and negative.
Mr. Maynard, have you rested on that point?
I will rest on this point.
Very well. Let's go on to the defense. Ms. Triv, you may present your exhibits.
Apologies. Do I need to do? No, I already did opening statement, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything that's left that, you didn't.
We might have already said some of the things you wanted to say. So.
Okay. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to screw up the flow.
No, you're fine.
We don't have a flow. It's okay.
I have a flow.
We know.
Is it nubile?
Just save your
It is
closing.
now.
Your
It
closing
was.
comes after this.
One of the things that's talked about a lot with this movie was the level of technology and how bad the CGI looks. And I would argue that for the time, this was pretty cutting edge. VR at this point was mainly used at NASA and places like that, as we see with the big whirly gigs and whatnot. So at that time, they were very, very simple in how they were approached. They were making things up as they went. It's one of the first movies to go this hardcore into CGI in the sense that we see it. And there really was no basis for them to go from. So they started where they were. They had 23 minutes of digital effects on a $5 million budget movie. And I think that really says something about what they were going for this and how committed they were to make something really unique and stylized.
Yeah. Oh, we've had Tron, but beyond that, Mr. Maynard, is this ahead of its time?
I don't think so. I mean, I forgive a lot of the graphics. I think, like I said earlier, because it is generally like graphical renderings of computers in 1992, so they would look very pixelated and kind of crappy. You know, I mean, Lawnmower Man doesn't look good, but he looks like what a computer program in 1992 would look like, I think. My problem when I have it is like with the wasps that seem to be out and conjured, like they look terrible, and where did they come from? And then they kind of did the CGI fire on the priest that doesn't look very convincing. It's like we have stuntmen that love being set on fire. Set a real guy on fire. Come on.
See, and I would say with that particular
Ain't hard to
scene
do it.
I would say with that particular scene that because Job is creating the fire from in his own mind, it's just as much a projection of fire from him as it is anything else. So having that CGI look kind of works.
I'll let the jury decide.
Any further exhibits?
When it comes to the quality of this movie, good versus bad, I just have a few general thoughts on that. This opened to 5 theaters with very, very little advertising, but it did so well, it ended up going with a full release. It was second at the box office behind Wayne's World, and it ended up grossing $150 million across its run, and it was the top rated indie of the year. This movie has been in for God's sake, it's been VHS, it's been VCD, which is a hell of a format that I had to look up. In Laserdisc, DVD, Blu-ray, 4K. Movies, there's a reason this movie keeps coming back and being released in all these different formats. And I think that says something about the quality of the movie and what it has to say and the likability of it.
Well, obviously nothing could beat Wayne's World. So, Mr. Maynard, it went from nothing to just below Wayne's World. So how did that happen?
I don't know, just below Wayne's World, though. How long was that with Stephen King's name in the title? How many people got into the theater
Stephen
based
King's
on
Wayne's
that?
World?
But they still came back.
And also, I don't know if being re-released on every new medium as it's come out is really a sign of quality, because that just tends to happen with a whole bunch of movies. I mean, they're always willing to just put them out. There's very few that get left completely behind.
Is there a criterion? If there's a criterion, then there's something.
I don't think there is. But doesn't it? But all those do take money to produce and to do all the marketing and stuff on. Would you put money out on a movie that's not going to make you money back?
Plenty of filmmakers do, and they load the gas station bin barrels with $5 copies of Lawnmower Man on DVD. I'm sure you could find it out there.
I'm still waiting for my tour on UHD, which still hasn't happened. Or your.
Even given that in mind, though, $150 million back then is nothing to sneeze at. It's still, even without Stephen King's name, still brought people back.
They had to pay a lot of that to Stephen King anyway.
When will we stop? Dreamcatchers.
$2 million one time and $1.5 million the other.
Cool. Any further exhibits from the defense?
That's kind of all I got. I just got to say that I think it was it was the belt buckle where things started to go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So the belt buckle, I think everything would have been fine.
That's what it says on my dating profile.
You need a bigger belt buckle, Your Honor. So big, no one could unbuckle it.
All sides have rested their cases. The attorneys will now present their closing arguments. Mr. Bangs, you may begin.
Thank you, Your Honor. You know, I initially prepared Maynard Bangs' top 5 animals Pierce Brosnan experimented on before chimpanzees that we didn't get to see in The Lawnmower Man in no particular order. But we all know how it would have gone. Dog,
Yes,
cat, parrot, everyone's favorite semi-aquatic mammal, and I don't know, like maybe a snail or something. But it all seems so trite. Am I becoming predictable or repetitive?
Yes.
Repetitive? Am I becoming repetitive?
Yes.
So I decided I need to turn over a new leaf. And since New Year's was just last week, or possibly this week, or maybe up to 3 weeks ago, and because I didn't get to do that episode, here are Maynard Bangs' top 5 New Year's resolutions of 2026 that I didn't keep in 2025 in no particular order.
God damn it.
Number 1, stop doing top 5 lists.
Yes.
At first, it started out as a fun and easy way to fulfill my closing statement requirement, but now it's become nothing more than a crutch to pad out time. And whenever I don't do one, people just think, oh, no top 5 list, he really phoned this one in. No, the top 5 list was me phoning it in. Without the list, it's more like me dropping a text. Plus,
So did you make
one's
every
all...
single phone in the world ring at the same time?
I can't, but someone can. Hopefully someone nubile.
Can.
Plus, one's always a throwaway joke about platypuses anyway, so I hereby resolve this is my final top 5 list on this show ever in the year 2026 until further notice. Number 2, adopt a platypus. Did you know their current population numbers are dwindling, possibly as low as 30,000? And it's up to us to do what we can to ensure their species is conserved, at least until they can get reinforcements from their extraterrestrial brethren via panspermia. Number 3, start a band called Panspermia. I've already talked to Phil Modis about playing guitar. We can get the Vern on drums, and we can probably get Big Ben to do some kind of sexy go-go dance in the corner and some European short shorts.
You can't afford me.
Panspermia, for those who don't know, is the theory that life originated on other worlds and was seeded here via asteroid or meteorite or some such, which is likely how the very first platypus arrived here on Earth. In fact, according to ancient astronaut theorists.
Let's move on to the next one.
Come on.
Okay, all right.
A good astronaut.
Number 4, finish a statement about ancient astronaut theorists.
No, not happening. Not happening. Number 5.
Insane
Number
and
5.
baseless ideas, but they have every right to be heard regardless. I don't know where and I don't know when, and most importantly, I don't know what it'll actually say.
It'll be a whole other
Promise you,
podcast.
the day is coming and the truth is out there. Number 5, start doing top 6 lists.
No!
Let's admit it. Top 5 isn't even a challenge anymore. And 6 is the hottest number going right now. It's 2026. It's one half of the most popular phrase among kids today. It's the number of senses possessed by the platypus, the 6 being electroreception, which allows them to detect faint electrical signals from prey with special cells in their bill. It's the magic number. So say goodbye to Maynard Bangs' top 5 list, because 2026 is the year of Maynard Bangs' top 6 list in no particular order. Thank you, Your Honor.
Let's
Only
do
we
top
had a
3.
Y2K to come and kill us all.
You're going the wrong way. Top 4, top 3. Trinity, the 3 is cool. Anyway, Triv, perhaps you have a more sensical Lawnmower Man on topic closing statement for this. For the
You don't
jury to
control
chew
me,
on.
Your Honor.
We never know.
Your Honor, Mr. Prosecutor, members of the jury, and nubile platypuses of all sizes. Did you know that the
Nascent,
platypus is
even.
a mammal that lays eggs?
Yes, I did. It's also
Well,
venomous.
unlike my fellow lawyer, I will try to give Lawnmower Man the due it deserves. This is not Manos or Birdemic. Lawnmower Man is incredibly well received at the box office. For over 33 years, this has been on screens for generations of people to enjoy. And I personally enjoy it quite a lot, despite my initial thoughts on it. I came in and I saw it this time and I had a change. I was looking at it with a critical eye and it changed the way I looked at it. This was nominated for a Fangoria Chainsaw Award and multiple Academy of Sci-Fi, Fantasy, and Horror Awards. Some of the reviews that I read on IMDb, it's not an absolute masterpiece, but worth a rental. Was a good movie at the time and still is. An enjoyable train wreck, a wonderful period piece. This movie gained infamy for its marketing, which happens to a lot of movies across the history of film. This is not a perfect movie, but it's a damn sight better than its reputation would suggest. It's a time capsule that shows you a certain level of justified fear towards tech in an age when people didn't understand the computing power they foresaw. It's a bombastic, semi-low budget time capsule that has intent behind its effects and its story. I would like to also add that my birth cry is the sound of every phone ringing across the planet in unison. And that's where I'm going to end this. I am going to call everybody. And my phone.
Oh, no.
That's
Also,
why I'm
yay,
unlisted.
platypuses.
Have fun
I'll
editing
find
that,
you.
whoever's editing this. Thank you very much. Members of the jury.
And who are those jury members, Mr. Your
Oh,
Honor?
I
Scrolled, I scrolled.
Okay, cool.
Thank you both. Members of the jury, Mr. Dylan J. Schlender, Mr. Big Ben Haslar, and Mr. By the year 2001, there won't be a person on this planet who isn't hooked into Ryan Luis Rodriguez.
Oh.
You have all heard the facts
Well, he is
concerning this
quite
case.
nubile.
And Mason.
He's not listed.
It is now up to you to determine if the film is guilty of being a bad movie. The bailiff will escort you to the deliberation room to render your verdict. Right this way? You know, it's a shame this movie got in the way of my Stephen King's Weed Whacker Man treatment.
Oh, God. We have established that the bailiff's written a lot of scripts.
That's all he does. What do you expect him to do while we're all yapping?
That is true. I think it would have been fantastic and much better than the first treatment of Lawnmower Man.
All right. I believe I'm the four-man man today. And
The
so it was
four-man
an interesting...
man, as
the
compared to the
four-man man,
non-man
yes.
man.
Exactly. It's a whole to-do, really. It's exhausting. All right. So we had two interesting cases. It's a very interesting movie. I want to start with a few things that Maynard brought up as the prosecution. I do think it's a cheat putting Stephen King's Lawnmower Man on there, and it was a dirty marketing tactic. It's half of the reason I actually rented this movie when I was younger. It was the 1-2 punch, like, hey, it's got James Bond in it, and it's based on Stephen King. But here's the thing, I had not read the Stephen King short story, so I kind of enjoyed the movie when I saw it when I was younger. I'm like, oh, that's sweet. Later on, I would read the Stephen King short story. I go, oh, this.
Well, she's right though. It does have Stephen King isms like giant stuff, telepathy, lawnmower.
Oh,
He's just into that stuff.
Well, in the shop and everything, of course. Other thing that Maynard said, two other things that I really agreed with too. The undefined power structure for Job in really manifesting those bees. I was like, okay, what is that? At least.
And
Make
the
him
fire.
say, like,
Yeah.
I'm going to make them see. No, the fire, I kind of like Nicki's explanation for. Like, that's how he visualized the virtual fire kind of thing. But, like, the bees, he was looking at a real bee, or it should have looked like a stuffed bee. Or, so, like, I'm with him on that. That was just... And you don't need that for him to get in. They already showed that he could control people's minds. Just have all the guards let him in. So, anyway, that was weird. And also, I do like Maynard's point about how they don't really grapple with the morality in this.
They don't.
You kind of get started thinking Pierce Brosnan is the bad guy, and then they kind of turn him into the hero. And it's like, is Joe better off? And it would have been nice to see them grapple with it. I will say, though, I do think, to disagree with Maynard, they do explain quite clearly that the VR is used to stimulate his brain while he is on the psychotropics, and that Job's goal, as actually we just said in Ryan's nickname, was he was going to lay in wait. He knew that the internet was coming in a big way and that everyone's could be connected. And then, as he said to Pierce Brosnan, you need to be led. And so he was going to take over the world once everyone was plugged into the internet. So he had a long-term plan in mind.
Chillingly prescient.
Yeah, actually. And when he said that, I was like, man, he was, they're actually off by a little bit. I think if you even, but you can't say 1999, it's not as dramatic. So then looking at what Triv had to say in defense, I do think some of the technology warnings are there, I think Maynard had a good counter too, where it's like, it's not necessarily technophobic. I don't know if it was necessarily supposed to be technophobic. I do think it was to show off some of this CGI technology to just kind of put virtual reality on people's radar for what it would be capable of doing, and so I do think there was a lot of interesting notes the movie hits, and it does kind of feel like a kind of a mid Twilight Zone kind of episode, like Nicki was saying. So I think
more Outer Limits to me, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe more Outer Limits. Yeah, which, I mean, Outer Limits is almost definitionally mid Twilight Zone, so we're saying the same thing. But I would like to hear from Ryan Luis Rodriguez.
What is there to say about digital flowers for Algernon? that has not already been said.
Hmm.
Jeff Fahey gives an almost insensitive performance. Just going to put that delicately as I possibly can. But for me, this is a two-hander of a movie. You have everything that's in the virtual reality and everything that's outside. And when it was in the virtual reality, I liked how dated it looked. There was something just appealing about the aesthetic of the swirling colors. And I've never taken acid. I've always wanted to. But I would imagine that would be what it would kind of be like. And I like all those scenes a lot. It's whenever we're not inside the computer realm that I have a problem with. But I found myself siding with both sides pretty much equally. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna wrap this up. But Ben,
I think the challenge for Fahey though was he did have to play someone who was mentally disabled, who would be
And awesome, like godlike at the end. Yeah,
but then not be at the end. That is tough. And if you want to tell that story, you're going to have to tell that with someone who's not mentally disabled. Unfortunately, you couldn't do it the other way. So I appreciate you wanting to be sensitive, but like that's really the only way you could tell the story.
Yeah, I think he could have done it better, but I do.
He did fine, to be honest.
I do get the challenge that you're saying. It's not nothing. It's weird hearing these people talk. Like this movie almost sounds sane. Watching it, it's like way more insane than they made it sound. It's just there's so much going on. It's like every scene just looks different from the scene before it. It just makes big swings. So I think that this would go in a category of recommendations of justice. This is a movie that should be seen to believed. It is one of those that just is uniquely itself. I also kind of agreed with both sides. This is a very 50-50 movie for me, despite that, because it just leans into what it's doing so hard. It makes mistakes as to what it's saying, but it also is ahead of its time as far as where technology was going to go. I did get Outer Limits off of it. I got Where No Man Has Gone Before, that Star Trek episode, off of it.
You mentioned Outer Limits before we were recording, and I had that in my mind when I was watching it.
Yeah, but it's like longer. It's like, if they would have shortened it down to like a 40,
it's 4
48
times
minutes
the length of the average episode of the Outer Limits, especially the director's cut that we all watched.
You wouldn't have been mad, right? Like at that length, you wouldn't have been mad. You'd be like, oh, okay. He turned into a god. Cool. But yeah,
Maynard's right though. Like it would be very easy to find the maintenance, especially because he says specifically it's the maintenance port. It's like that's like literally going to be always an unencrypted port, and I don't know how Pierce Brosnan didn't encrypt it when he was running the first thing. I guess he was
because he's an actor, Dylan.
Fast. No, I know. I'm just saying, like that was such a weird. That was just kind of funny, but you kind of have to be a little more in the space than I would say the average viewer to appreciate how silly that was, like him individually testing everyone. Like, dude, you're like a god. You can literally run a report that will.
It's dramatic looking though. Like,
it is. Well, maybe he wasn't thinking straight too. I mean, he was kind of crazy.
He's panicked.
It was a funny point that Maynard brought up. I'm glad he brought it because I was also laughing. I feel like this is not a hard thing to do.
Well, yeah, like almost anytime someone's hacking, like in a movie, it's like that's not what it looks like.
I mean, it's like, how could he like a triple encryption? Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway. Ben? Anything else you want to put a bow on here?
No, I do agree with the prosecution that it looks terrible when the CGI bleeds into the real world. That is like the thing I hate the most about it. I do think everything else you kind of get around, like the VR space like allows him to explore things faster than it would reading a book, like train faster.
It was stimulating his lobes differently.
Right. So I'm okay with any of that. Like I agree, it's the shots that made him better, but like the VR is what is his accelerating learning space.
No, I agree with Nicki. I think the VR is the lightning. So I disagree with Maynard saying it was the table that it was on.
It's not the table. The shots are the lightning.
I disagree. I think the light that primes him. And then they blast all the stuff into his like frontal lobe. Like they were clearly showing that he was clearly showing the brain diagrams.
That's true. He was rewiring his brain through VR. But I think even beyond that, he was like learning stuff and training stuff on his own that accelerated his learning faster than any human. Of course,
but he had the capability to do it because of the VR stimulus.
Boy, and I really thought like with that opening scene with that chimp escape, like I thought this was going to be so much more off the wall goofy than because it's going ooh, ooh, like this whole thing while he's like while this VR stuff is happening. I thought this was going to be a funny goof of a movie, and then it like takes itself so seriously after that. It's such an odd movie.
Oh, yeah, it was weird. Yeah,
but I do think it's ahead of its time. And Maynard lost me with the nerd hate. Nerds can be handsome. Yours truly, very handsome. So I'm going to go not guilty.
We have a not guilty from Big Ben, Ryan Luis Rodriguez.
This movie is trying to be William Gibson, but ends up being Reboot. And I strongly appreciate that. Not guilty.
Oh my God. Man, I love Reboot. Is there a way we could do Reboot on the show somehow?
They probably have the pilot episode that's probably like feature length, but I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But I'll get back to you on that.
All right, well, sign up for our Patreon where you can hear our bonus episode discussing Reboot.
I do not do that.
So today, I just don't think we got all the way. The burden just wasn't met to get this all the way to guilty. I appreciate that we had a lot of fun. It was an interesting movie to discuss, and I do wish the movie grappled with a few of the moral questions a bit better than it did. But at the end of the day, it's a pretty serviceable sci-fi thriller. I'm also going to go not guilty on this one.
Unanimous. I don't know if it deserves to be unanimous because it is.
That never happens. Let's go out there and tell that very handsome judge.
Mr. Foreman, have we reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor. In the case of the people versus the Lawnmower Man, we find the defendant not guilty of being a bad movie.
You guys don't want to check the bird bath. That's, sorry.
The verdict is so rendered. Lawnmower Man is free to go, and we can all look forward to the hellscape that is its VR world with graphics worse than Spawn coming to Oculus spring 2027. Court is adjourned.
Oh,
Actually,
gotta wait so
CGI
long.
looked better than the hellscape in Spawn.
Would you have preferred a Questworld joke? That was my alternate.
Schlender really just trailed off there.
No, I was saying it looks better than the CGI in Hellspawn. The Hell CGI, I'll take Lawnmower Man over that.
This is Whispery Whisperson, the softest speaking representative of the Gabagool Gazette, reporting to you live from outside the rails of justice. Nicki, would you care to share your thoughts on the jury's verdict? And you'll have to speak up. My ears are very sensitive.
The universe is mine. I am God here.
That was a short response. Thank you. And here comes Rob Maynard, you son of a bitch. Excuse me, can we get a word on how you feel about today's verdict? I don't remember if you won or lost, and I don't care.
Well, I like that you're still mean too, even though you're soft-spoken for some reason. It's almost like it's not a character thing. I'm not really disappointed. I generally liked this movie. It could be better, but I guess I would not define it as bad. But nerds cannot be handsome. Then they would cease to be nerds. They would just be smart guys.
Thank you very much. That's all we have from the courthouse today. Let's go back to the studio for some post-trial analysis.
What?
Speak up!
Ryan whispering like that makes me feel very nubile.
Well, that's our ASMR.
It's weird. His whispering
feature.
is louder than Ryan's normal speech.
It's
ASMR
normal
was at
speeching.
the end of my thing if you would have let me fucking talk.
He speeches real good.
It literally ends with me saying I'm gonna go record some ASMR videos, but you had to talk over me, didn't you, fuckers?
Do you want to say it now?
They can add it.
No, it doesn't matter now.
We won't add it in
Ruined
post.
it.
We'll just have him say it.
How
now.
about this? I'm gonna go record some ASMR videos. I'll be back later. Oh yeah.
With some nubiles.
Yes.
Nascent even.
Interesting case. I guess justice was served. I don't think it's really a bad movie, but it's all over the place. Mostly, I would rather just see Cyber God. Just do Cyber God and don't stick any of the Lawnmower Man stuff in here that they needed to do to tie it to Stephen King.
I could see that.
Well,
and the thing
you would
is, the
still
way
need a simple-minded man for this whole thing to work, though.
That was certainly in the script for Cyber God, and he just got turned into someone who mows lawns because they needed to attach it to the story.
Yeah, so it's not that fundamentally different, though. So,
Well, look at some of the
he
other
drives
ones.
an ice cream truck instead. I mean, what do you want?
Well, look at some of the other movies that have done that. Like, look at what was it, 10 Cloverfield Lane? Like, that was a completely different movie, and then they attached the Cloverfield name to it. Regarded, that's not Stephen King, and I understand that. Like, that whole bit where it was Stephen King oriented, I don't know why they felt the need to attach to it, other than they had to, make money off of the damn thing. So
I hadn't seen it until this case. I didn't know Stephen King's name was attached to it.
You didn't watch it on VCD?
No. Can you imagine?
Wild.
Nor did I watch it on 8-track.
VCD was crazy looking up that, because it's like, what the hell is VCD? And it's just like, what?
Betamax?
You know what I miss? Disco Vision, which is what they came up before they came up with Laserdisc.
Oh, nice. That would be cool.
Wait, are VCDs? They kind of look like big floppy disks. Is that those?
They look like big records, but you can't. But you insert it the way you would like a CD-ROM, so it's inside of a plastic, like a plastic cartridge.
I'm pretty sure my Jason and the Argonauts may be one.
I was gonna say, I think we saw that. Yeah, the flea market guy was selling the.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my copy of Jason and the Argonauts is on RCA VCD.
I've got a friend that runs a secondhand media shop, and there was a guy that brought in like 30 some odd VCDs as well as a player, and he said it was fascinating to kind of look into because he had never seen it before, and he's pretty well read when it comes to media. So
I would imagine.
Yeah, well, it's basically the discs were protected by a thing, and then they were like, we can make a lot more money if we just let the disc flop around so they can get damaged and people have to replace them every few years. Genius! Which is exactly why they did it. So, Nicki, what keeps you busy when you're not here defending Lawnmower Man? What are you usually doing? Where can we find you?
I try to be as nubile as fucking possible.
Yeah.
No, I am on YouTube at Trivial Theater. I do quite a random array of things. I do reviews based around random, obscure, and straight up bad movies. I've also become more of someone that does a lot of instructional video riffs. And then I also do live stream gaming of Riff Tracks the game for the most part. So a little bit of everything. I try to keep it unique and interesting. So.
Yeah, Ryan, you played the Riff Tracks game? Oh,
I have not, but Nicki is a frequent guest on my show, and always a blast to have her on.
Absolutely.
We just did Hundreds of Beavers about a month ago.
Absolutely fantastic. So, and Ryan's been on my channel a couple of times too, and we need to get him back on again because it's been a hot minute. So.
Yes, absolutely.
But the rest of us don't riff. Not at all. Just Ryan.
Oh, you guys, come on over. That would be fantastic to have y'all.
Well,
I'm going to clear my calendar.
Yes.
Ken and I are coming over for Christmas.
Absolutely.
Next year. Wait a minute. It's already next year.
Bringing cheesecake squares.
Yes.
Ooh.
You just have to find your way onto the 2D plane because that's where the theater is, and I only have a couple of folding chairs, so it might be tight, but you're welcome. So
in Flatland?
Yes,
you can't unfold the folding chairs in 2D land.
How does that work?
You know what? It takes a little. It takes some Project 5 level stuff and a VR headset that's attached to a vibrating bed.
You can have stools.
Well, you don't have to twist Ben's arm.
You couldn't decide who he wanted to sing.
I know. It's an embarrassment of riches, really.
Absolutely. But no, truly, the offer stands. If you guys, I'd love to have you on. I wouldn't say all of you together, but maybe like 2 or 3. That would be awesome.
Yeah, we suck together. I get that.
No.
Yeah,
Because that's a lot
kind
of
of like the Eagles.
That's a
We're much
lot
better
of
in our solo
editing for
stuff.
me to do. And 3 is kind
right. Y'all keep talking over each other. I don't understand what everyone's saying.
Only if you
Here's
make
my ASMR joke.
ASMR jokes, exactly. Then we will shout over it. Now, we always ask for recommendations from our guests for movies you think people should see. So, Nicki, what is a movie you think people should see?
Okay, have you guys seen Kung Fury?
Yes.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
So it's a movie that kind of I don't honestly know that much about it. I watched it based on a recommendation, but it is very similar in style. You can see there's a lot of green screen work, but it's called Guy Manley Super Spy, and it's on Tubi, and it is absolutely fantastic. Swedish in origin, but all dubbed in English, and it's wild and crazy and just incredible amount of fun.
So, what's it called? It's
Guy Manley Super Spy.
And so the genre is Kung Fury?
No,
it's like Kung Fury.
It's kind of got this
Oh.
very bombastic, like kind of crazy green screen thing going. Not the whole thing, but a good chunk of it.
Is it feature length?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, an
And
hour
it's
32.
yeah, I think it's like an hour. It's an hour 40 all said. So, like I say, there's a lot of live action stuff too, but like a lot of the things that happen look in a similar way to what Kung Fury has. So there's even
Nice.
a guy that looks like Thor, and I think he's called Man Thor. So
That's got to be on Tubi, right?
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. You're cutting into
It's a
Schlender's
little-
recommendations there.
Yeah, there
No,
are,
the more the Tubi's a horn of plenty.
it very much
The more the tubier? Is that what you were going to say?
God, I
Oh.
wish I was that clever.
We should pitch them that catchphrase.
That would be fantastic. There are places where it does kind of dip a bit, but overall it is well worth the ride and like laugh my ass off at it. So
All right, fantastic. Now, my recommendation today actually concerns the topic of virtual reality, unlike The Lawnmower Man. I do not agree. It is David Cronenberg's 1990 film Existenz.
Ooh, good one.
Don't worry if you can't pronounce it. The very first scene goes in depth on the matter. In a world where humans play out entire lifetimes inside immersive virtual realities, a popular game designer, played by Jennifer Jason Leigh, must navigate various threats against her life and her work with the help of a PR trainee, Jude Law. But where does reality begin and Existenz end? The players connect to the game by inserting an umbilical-like cord inside a port they've had surgically implanted in their spines. And attached to the other side is an organic console device made of flesh that squirms and chitters happily when you stroke the controls.
Guarantee you Elon Musk is working on it.
Would you call it nubile?
I would not call it nubile. I might now. But the point is, if you had missed David Cronenberg's name in the opening credits, it wouldn't take you long to connect the dots. In fact, this movie has all the Cronenberg-esque staples you're looking for: mutated flesh, invasive technology, blurred lines of reality. They even assemble a gun out of bone that can shoot molars through people's skulls. But no one ever says they're armed to the teeth.
Oh, it's right there.
Some great appearances from Willem Dafoe and Sir Ian Holm as well. And since it's a David Cronenberg film, had I mentioned that yet?
No.
You just know that Ryan Luis Rodriguez already owns it on 4K. But
It's
just
not on 4K, but I do have it on Blu-ray.
that's someone get it on 4K for him. Release it on 4K for Ryan. But just in case you're not Ryan, you can catch it streaming for free, apparently on Plex.
Nice.
Huh.
Oh,
That's
so
an
it's
egg
45 minutes of
for
commercials. Got it.
Is the twist the whole movie's a video game?
Ooh, well, Schlender, like I'm always telling you, if it's possible that we could be living inside a simulation, then we probably
Okay.
are.
Well, actually, man, I'll have ancient astronaut theorists.
That's my bit.
Oh, it's a great
Ben, you were the judge?
Yes, I was.
It was
Thank
a
you
long
for
time ago,
remembering.
man. It was a long, long time ago. Where's my...
That was 2 beers ago.
Okay.
For my recommendation, I found myself a little pressed for time this week as to watch anything directly on topic, and will opt for one of my favorite films that somehow still hasn't been recobended. It's Minority Report. I
nice.
think most people who watch sci-fi films are pretty familiar with it, but I distinctly remember in the small town I grew up in that this film somehow didn't merit the big screen in our little sixplex theater. I assume that all Steven Spielberg films just went directly to the number 1 theater, but this somehow managed the number 2 without that stadium seating, thanks to Lilo and Stitch, which to this date I still haven't seen. And since that was over 20 years ago, you can bet your sweet baby I know how to hold a grudge. Minority Report is one of those films that I don't find myself watching every year, more like every 4 or 5, but every time I do watch it, I consistently find myself asking, why the hell don't I watch this more than I do? It's amazing. It has Spielberg's eye, Philip K. Dick's brain, Tom Cruise's action chops. What a trifecta. This film explores questions of predestination in a way that would make Calvinists squeal. What if through time travel, mathematical certainty, or other means, we could determine who will commit a crime and stop it before it occurs? What then is the legal ramification for punishing this person who hasn't yet, but will have done something heinous? Since we know it is now in their character to say murder a cheating spouse, but said spouse is still alive, we just stepped in before they could do anything. So what do? 1992. The stakes are even set higher when one of the cops who apprehends these people finds that the precogs, the psychic beings who predict the future, say he will commit a murder. Not even a crime of fashion, but a crime of passion, mind you, but one premeditated. Indeed, the grieving parent who lost a son has reason to commit such a crime. It's such a smart film, but moves at a swift pace with lots of cool sci-fi action set pieces that should make just about anyone happy.
You should watch Lilo and Stitch. It's really good, Ben.
You should watch
I have no desire to watch
Not a
Lilo
live
and Stitch.
action.
Yeah. Man, though, Minority Report is amazing. I am surprised I was recommended it. That's so good.
And I'm just happy it doesn't have Philip K. Brain's dick.
Doing a
What
crime
if
of fashion.
Philip K. Dick's brain is his dick?
Yeah.
Whoa. I should have some more of these Moon Goonies.
What a nascent idea.
Ryan, what have you got for us?
My Hecko-bendation this week is a documentary from 2024 called I'm George Lucas, a Connor Ratliff story. I am absolutely obsessed with Ratliff's improv baby on the UCB stage, the George Lucas talk show, in which he plays the titular character, hosting his own self-referential and meta gabfest with the greatest podcaster in the world, Griffin Newman, as Watto, the Ed McMahon to his Carson, and producer Patrick Kotner booking the guests. Surprisingly, it's less of a parody of Lucas and more of a way to do a comedy show with a point of view, an endless supply of material, and an unexpected, if not goofy, amount of sincerity. The film covers Ratliff's early life and present-day inner frustration as he feels that the show is hitting its stride only for the pandemic year to eliminate his ability to perform to an immediate live audience, but, positively, signals a shift into doing charity marathons on Twitch, which is easily the strongest segment. It's great, it's illuminating, it made me more than a little emotional. I don't know when it will be streaming or if, but that doesn't matter. You have to own this one because it contains 30 audio commentaries that I'm spending 2 weeks listening to. That is all.
Is that a Guinness World Record? Or?
Different episodes.
It may be a record, yes.
They get more and more drunk as they go along.
No liquored up commentaries on this Blu-ray, unfortunately.
Ah, damn it!
How do
You
you
should
know?
do 30 episodes of One Track Mind on it.
That was what Schlenzo was suggesting. Oh, an entire season. Of
I didn't hear him. Sorry.
That's because you were too busy talking over him when he was trying to make his ASMR joke.
He missed my ASMR joke.
Exactly. Very rude. Schlendo, send us on home.
You got it, Maynard. As you know, I have to make a big deal about whenever I see a movie in the theaters.
A big stink.
A big stink, if you will. A big to-do. Very nubile of me. So here we go with Wicked for Good, hitherto referred to as Wicked 2. If you enjoyed the first one, this one is a little less of the same. The songs are not as good and the stakes don't feel as high, but it's not without its visual charms. Also, you really have to accept going in the fact that this is just 100% a new story. The tie-ins to the original Wizard of Oz are tenuous and do not hold up to scrutiny the way something like Updike's Gertrude and Claudius could be easily overlaid over Hamlet. This is not a new phenomenon, but it is getting to be a bit tired and old hat. An old witch's hat, if you will.
Oh.
Look, there are no shortages of nits to pick, but ultimately I think it delivers on the promise of spectacle. Just approach it with the right expectations and prepare yourself mentally for none of the songs. I gotta stress this very, very much. Prepare yourself mentally. None of the songs will be as strong as they were in Wicked 1. Since we're in a brand new year, 2026, this is probably streaming everywhere. So
on
put
Peacock.
on your favorite. On Peacock. It's streaming on Peacock.
Where?
Yeah. Peacock!
Thank
So
you.
check it out there. Speaking of nubile, here's a little spoiler. Like, the Wicked Witch actually gets, like, busy with the dude, and it was really awkward to watch. I'm like,
Brown chicken,
I
brown cow.
don't need to see the Wicked Witch of the West.
She
banging
gets
some
busy with
dude.
a scarecrow, man.
Well, he becomes. There's all the spoilers. He's not the Scarecrow yet, but yeah. So
Are you
anyway,
sure you
turns
watched
out-
it in the theater and not like on some certain porn parody website or something?
Okay, so let's just go all in on the spoilers.
You're
turns
saying
out-
the Wicked Witch turns the scarecrow into a scarecrow for being an unsatisfying lover?
How about
No,
some
this-
fire, Scarecrow?
No, to save his life, and then they do end up hooking up at the end. So the Wicked Witch and the Scarecrow are banging. The Wicked Witch of the East and the Tin Man are banging. Everyone's banging in this movie.
He would
How could
rust.
you not
For
bang
kids,
if
you
you're a
know, for
Scary
kids.
Tin Man?
He would rust.
Well, again, they explain it all. They shouldn't, but they do.
No wonder he's getting so stiff.
No, like I say, you have to accept it's a completely different story.
I don't have to accept shit. And
I don't remember that in the musical, though. I really don't.
It's
it was in the liner notes, Ben. You got to read those.
Yeah, it's actually from the original book, which don't read because it's
The
freaking
witch
gross.
screws the Tin Man?
No.
Oh.
Well,
So-
Oz never did give nothing to the Tin Man they didn't already have.
I guess that's
He was
true.
already hard.
It's from America. The band from Tin Man's
Ooh.
song.
Hey, let's go listen to America.
That's what I did after the movie. I'm like, those were some good songs, babe. Have you ever heard America's Tin Man? Let's go.
And with that, we're all out of show because we have to go
Thank
listen to
God.
America. But we want to thank our guest, Nicki from Trivial Theater. Thank you so much for joining us, Nicki.
Cheers. As always, it's an absolute pleasure. You guys rock the house, even if you're not quite as nubile as I remember.
I think we're more nubile. You
Well,
wait.
that's-
We're going to send Ben to your vibrating bed, and he's going to... You just wait. He's going to make
Only
every...
if you-
If every phone in the world doesn't ring, you're going to think it did.
Oh, yeah, I only hope. Wow.
We'll have you...
That
Now I
went
need to
like
update my dating profile.
Will join us too.
Hold on.
That's the Reels of Justice. Keep turning.
Count it!
ASMR.
Jesus Christ.
Platypus?
Oh, God. Well, there it is, man. The funniest thing you've ever said. And we got it on tape.
Oh, no.
Please follow us on Twitter at Reels of Justice, Instagram Reels of Justice, and Facebook.com/Reels of Justice.